Hey everyone, it's Mr. Southern coming at you with a video on Unit 1, Lesson 5, where we are learning about methods. So I'm going to go through one of the modules with you. This is all the way in Module 5 of Lesson 5, where we have all the choices. And I was just going to do, reach the truck. Looks like I haven't done Part B yet. So let's go ahead and go there. So I'm going to kind of get two birds with one stone here. I'm going to show you how to do it um, with just simply moving and navigating, and I'll show you one way where we do the while loops. Okay, so I will also do a separate video on while loops. It's a little bit easier to understand just using basic arithmetic and numbers instead of these objects. So first thing we're going to do is this is all under the idea that there is a class. It's hidden. You can't see it. We can't see the code. It's called Painter, right? We know what all the methods do. And if you are curious on what those methods are, you can always go to documentation here, and then I can pull up .org.code.neighborhood Painter, and this will tell me all of the methods that are in Painter, right? So you can move, turn left, paint, take paint, etc. And then there's all the details below. Very simply for lesson 5, module 5, all you need to do is we're going to use the move and turn left methods to navigate through the neighborhood to reach the traffic cone. That's it. So we have a couple options here to make sure we get this problem correct, right? And I'll do it here in the code. The first thing we got to do is we need to instantiate a painter object. Now, what that means is that we're going to basically create a painter object. How do we do that? So there's a class called painter, and in it, it has turn left, paint, move. All of those methods are all built into painter. So we're going to need to essentially spawn an object that's going to come out and do the things that I want it to do. The naming convention for that is going to be the class name, in this case, painter. Then it's going to be the object name, call it, whatever, Whitley. And we're going to set that equal to, because equals is it's called an assignment operator, but it's going to go ahead and create a new, and that keyword has to be there, painter. And then we're going to leave it with parentheses. We're going to go through constructors essentially next unit, but for now, you just need to know that's the typical naming convention. At this point, I did a line of code. Let's go ahead and run it to make sure that my painter spawns. And he does. I see him right there. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we did the instantiation. So then we need to basically move and turn Whitley to get to the cone. That's really all we're trying to do. Now I'm going to, basically there's two ways we could do it. The hard way, or the more annoying way I should say, is do you see how the painter's already facing to the right? Right, he's got his little painter there. I can go ahead and use, in this case, Whitley as our object and a period. So what that means is it's going to be the object name, and the dot is a dot operator. That's going to call the method we want to do, which is move in this case. And you'll notice that Whitley is going to move one space, right? And then he hits an obstacle. If I try to move again, just for fun, let's go ahead and code it. You should see that we're going to get an exception thrown here, where it's like, oh, I can't move anymore. That's a problem, right? Right there. Painter tried to move off the grid or into an obstacle. So at the moment, it's like, oh, that's an error and that sucks. Well, what we can do is I could simply just go backslash like that and it comments it out. So at this point, all I got to do is keep turning Whitley, moving, turning Whitley, moving, turning Whitley, moving, right? So I'm going to keep repeating this process. I'll show you a couple steps just so it's kind of clear what to do. So once I'm here at this point where the painter is, I need to turn right. We don't have a way to turn right. So I'm going to go ahead and turn right by turning left 3 times. Later on, you're going to write the method for turn right, correct? So you'll do it then. But for now, I'm going to do turn left, and turn left. Now, what you'll notice at this point is I only have, in this case, when you're in the tester class, the main class here, this is kind of the quarterback because it has the word main for running the code. Whenever you can't just use some random method, you have to use the object to call the method. Okay, so without Whitley there, essentially Java doesn't know where turn left is. So by using an object to call a method, it knows, oh, turn left, that's right, that's under painter. And Whitley is a painter object, so I know to look in the painter class and get my turn left method. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it, and then you'll see that he turns left successfully. So now I'm going in the right direction. Now here's the deal. You guys are bright. You know at this point I'm going to do Whitley dot move to get to the next part. Then I have to do Whitley dot turn left, Whitley dot turn left, Whitley dot turn left. And that gets really, really, really annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do anything about the turn left right now because that's just what we have. But let's use a while loop now. So at this point I've turned. Now let's go ahead and use a while loop to keep moving while I can. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and use the while keyword, okay, with the parentheses. What's going to go in here is what we call a condition. In other words, it's either true or false. And I'm typing this out just as I'm saying it, just so it's clear for you watching the video. But essentially what goes inside the parentheses is this has to be a true or false condition. So something that's going to trigger the while loop to repeat is whether or not that condition is true. So what is that condition, you ask? If we look at the documentation and we go to the neighborhood runner for painter, right? If you scroll through all the methods, there is a method down here called can move. What can move does is, you see how it says returns true if there is no barrier, one space ahead in the direction of the painter? So in other words, I can use and I have to use Whitley, right? Because this is a painter, dot can move. Once I write this down, what that means is, can Whitley move or not? That is the question. If that's true, then keep repeating what I'm about to write on line 23 there, which is just Whitley dot move. So now what you're going to see is I only did Whitley dot move once, but guess what? He's going to move 2 spaces until he runs out of room. And there he goes. See? So the while loop is really helpful. And then now I can just go ahead and do while, or so not while, I can do Whitley dot turn left. And then he'll turn left, and I could just basically copy and paste that while loop again. And we're going to go ahead and move him. Try to speed it up a bit, so keep going. Right, so then we can just essentially rinse and repeat. In this case, now I need to turn right, move, and then we need to turn left. So I'm going to go ahead and use these again, and this should get me all the way to the end, I think. I should just go to, I'm just trying to speed this up a little bit. So now I'm paying attention to what I copied over here. And there we go. Because it's the same pattern, right? I move, turn right, basically, or 3 left turns, move, turn left, turn left 3 times, move, turn left, so it keeps happening over and over. I did use the while loop, so I'm going to hit the test button, and it looks like I passed all the tests, so I'm good to go there. So there's a quick introduction to lesson 5. We'll learn how to write methods later, and I showed a little bit of how to use the while loop. So hope this helps. Good luck.